Hey everyone, and welcome to The Deep Dive. We're diving into a topic that's super relevant for all you future nurses out there. Healthy eating.
You got it.
We know you're already juggling a million things like classes,
Yeah.
clinicals,
Right.
maybe even a side hustle.
Absolutely.
So we're going to make this quick,
Sure.
fun, and packed with useful info.
Definitely.
You ready to learn why ounce equivalents might be your new best friend?
Okay.
And why even broccoli can be bad if that's all you're eating?
I'm intrigued already.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it.
All right.
One of the things that really stood out to me in these guidelines is the focus on overall eating patterns.
Yeah, that's a really interesting shift from just counting calories or individual nutrients.
Right, like who has time for that?
It's really about making sure your overall dietary pattern is balanced and healthy.
So that's got to be a game changer for busy people like nursing students.
Absolutely. Especially when you're thinking about the long term.
Okay, I'm following you.
As nursing students, you're learning all about chronic diseases like heart disease, diabetes,
Yeah.
obesity.
Right.
And a lot of those are influenced by our eating habits over time.
Not just one bad meal here or there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about creating a sustainable, healthy lifestyle.
So how do these guidelines actually break down? What are the core principles we need to know?
So the 2025 dietary guidelines highlight four main areas.
Yep.
One is following a healthy dietary pattern at every stage of life. Another is customizing your choices to your own preferences and culture.
Gotcha.
Then there's focusing on nutrient-dense foods.
Okay.
And finally, limiting things like added sugars, saturated fat,
Okay.
sodium,
Right.
and alcohol.
So it's not about being restrictive.
No, not at all.
It's about finding a balance that works for you.
Exactly. And the guidelines even provide examples of healthy eating patterns.
They do.
Yeah, they highlight three.
Oh, cool. What are they?
There's the U.S. style,
Okay.
Mediterranean, and vegetarian patterns.
So there's flexibility within healthy eating.
Absolutely. You can find a pattern that aligns with your preferences and still meet your nutritional needs.
So even if I'm a pizza fanatic, there's a healthy way to make it work.
Exactly. It's all about making smart choices and finding that balance.
I love that. So let's dig into this concept of nutrient density.
Okay.
It sounds a little sciencey,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's super important not just for our own health, but also for what we'll be teaching our patients.
You're absolutely right. Nutrient density is basically about making every bite count.
Okay, I like that.
It's about choosing foods that are packed with vitamins and minerals and other good stuff, but are relatively low in calories, added sugars, and unhealthy fats.
So give me an example.
Sure. Imagine a cup of whole milk and a cup of skim milk.
Okay,
They both have the same amount of calcium and protein,
got it.
but the whole milk has way more calories and saturated fat.
Oh, I see.
So those extra calories in the whole milk are basically empty calories.
Meaning?
They don't provide any extra nutritional value.
Wow, that's a really clear example.
It really shows how those small choices can make a difference over time.
It's not about never indulging in those treats.
No way.
It's about making sure that the majority of our choices are fueling our bodies with what they need.
Exactly. It's all about creating a sustainable, healthy lifestyle.
Makes sense.
Eh.
And speaking of making smart choices, I think it's time to bring in the visual aid.
Oh, yeah. MyPlate.
Exactly.
This is where those guidelines come to life in a really easy to understand way.
I love MyPlate. It's basically a snapshot of what a balanced plate should look like.
Right. Half your plate should be fruits and veggies.
Okay,
A quarter should be grains.
gotcha.
And the other quarter protein foods. And then you've got your serving of dairy on the side.
Simple and straightforward.
Exactly. It helps people grasp healthy balance without having to memorize a bunch of numbers.
Right, and for nursing students who will be educating patients,
Yeah.
having this visual can be really helpful.
Absolutely. It's a great tool for empowering people to make healthier choices.
So let's break down each section of MyPlate.
Okay.
What are the key things to remember about each food group?
Starting with fruits, they're packed with vitamins, minerals, and fiber.
Right, which is super important for a healthy digestive system.
Exactly. And something you're all learning about in your nursing courses.
True.
Plus, the natural sugars in fruit are a much better energy source than sugary drinks.
Especially during those long study sessions.
Absolutely. And don't forget about the variety.
Oh, yeah. All the different colors and flavors.
It's like eating a rainbow.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then we've got veggies, the other half of our MyPlate power couple.
Yes. Vegetables are nutritional superstars.
What makes them so essential, especially for busy nursing students?
Well, they offer a ton of vitamins, minerals, and fiber, but with very few calories.
That's cute.
They're also rich in antioxidants.
Which do what exactly?
They protect your cells from damage, which is super important when you're dealing with stress and lack of sleep.
That's us.
Think of veggies as your shield against burnout.
I like it. So lots of fruits and veggies.
Yep.
What about grains?
So with grains, it's important to focus on whole grains.
Okay.
Whole grains contain the entire grain kernel, which makes them rich in fiber, B vitamins, and minerals.
And what about refined grains?
Refined grains have had the bran and germ removed.
And that means?
They've lost a lot of their nutritional value.
So that's why we hear so much about choosing brown rice over white rice.
Exactly. And whole wheat bread over white bread.
You're getting more bang for your nutritional buck.
Absolutely. Now let's move on to protein.
Okay. What are the best sources of protein for busy nursing students?
You have a ton of options.
Like?
Lean meats, poultry, fish, eggs, beans, lentils, nuts, and seeds.
Wow, so many choices.
And protein is important not just for you, but also for your future patients.
How so?
Well, protein is crucial for building and repairing tissues.
That makes sense.
Which is super important for healing.
Right.
It also helps make enzymes and hormones.
Okay.
And supports a healthy immune system.
This is making me realize how much our food choices really impact our overall health.
Yeah, it's all connected.
And that's something we need to keep in mind as future nurses.
Absolutely. It's not just about treating illnesses. It's about helping people build healthier lives.
Love that.
Yeah.
So with MyPlate, we've got our fruits, veggies, grains, and protein covered.
Right.
Are there any other tips we should keep in mind?
Yeah. MyPlate also emphasizes using healthy oils,
Oh, wait.
olive oil or canola oil,
Okay.
and limiting added sugars, saturated fat, sodium, and alcohol.
It's like the fine print of healthy eating.
It is, but these things can really sneak into our diets if we're not careful.
Especially when you're a busy nursing student grabbing quick and easy meals.
Exactly, and that's why it's so important to have some practical tips for navigating healthy eating.
Because let's be real, it's not always easy to make the perfect choices when you're juggling a million things.
Definitely not. So let's talk about some strategies that can help.
Okay, I'm ready.
One thing that really helped me was shifting how I thought about portions. The guidelines actually suggest using ounce equivalents instead of the word serving.
I've heard that. Why is that better?
Well, the word serving can be really confusing.
Yeah, it is.
Ounce equivalents give you a more concrete measurement.
Give me an example.
Sure. So instead of saying a serving of pasta, think about half a cup.
Okay.
Or instead of a serving of cheese, think about the size of a pair of dice.
That makes so much more sense.
It does. It makes healthy eating feel less overwhelming.
What about eating out? Any tips for navigating restaurant menus?
Absolutely. One tip is to look for grilled, baked, or steamed options
Okay,
instead of fried foods.
gotcha.
You can also ask for dressings and sauces on the side.
Right.
And don't be afraid to ask for substitutions. Most restaurants are happy to accommodate reasonable requests.
These are great tips, and I love how they echo what we'll be teaching our patients.
Yes, it's all about finding their small, sustainable changes that fit into our lives.
And it's nice to know that this advice is consistent across different health organizations.
Yeah, the American Heart Association and the American Cancer Society offer similar guidelines.
So whether we're focusing on our own health or educating patients, these principles hold true.
Exactly. It just goes to show you how important they are.
It's like that saying, what's good for the heart is good for, well, everything.
Exactly. And that brings us to a really important point specifically for you as nursing students.
Oh, here's where it gets interesting.
Yeah. How does healthy eating connect to being an effective nurse?
I'm all ears.
Think about the empathy and understanding you'll need when working with patients who are struggling to make healthy choices. By having navigated these challenges yourselves, you'll be better equipped to offer practical advice and support.
Wow. I hadn't thought of it that way.
It's not just about knowing the facts. It's about having that lived experience to connect with patients on a deeper level.
You're right. So it's not just about dispensing information.
No.
We're role models.
Exactly.
So taking care of our own health is even more important.
Absolutely. It sets a good example for your patients.
I love that. We've covered a ton of ground here.
We have.
From the big picture of the dietary guidelines to practical tips for making healthier choices as busy nursing students.
It's been a great discussion.
It has. But before we wrap up this section, I want to touch on something that I know a lot of us struggle with.
What's that?
Disliking certain healthy foods.
I think we've all been there.
Right. Like, I used to be convinced that all vegetables were the enemy.
Oh, tell me about it. I used to think brown rice was something only health nuts ate.
We've all got our food aversions.
Definitely. But there are ways to overcome them.
Oh, so what do the guidelines say about that?
They emphasize gradual change.
Okay.
You don't have to force yourself to eat things you absolutely hate.
Right.
Start by incorporating more of the healthy foods you already enjoy, and then branch out slowly.
So like baby steps.
Exactly. Maybe try a new recipe or cooking method.
I like that. It's about finding what works for you and making those changes sustainable.
Absolutely. And speaking of making things easier, the source material mentioned a great website.
Tell me more.
It's called MyPlate.gov.
I've heard of that.
They have a ton of resources specifically for students.
Really? Like what?
They have personalized meal plans and quick, easy recipes.
Perfect for busy students who don't have a ton of time to cook.
Exactly. It takes the guesswork out of meal planning and makes healthy eating much more approachable.
That's fantastic. No more excuses about not having time to cook healthy meals.
Right.
And speaking of no excuses, let's end this deep dive with a final thought-provoking question from our expert.
I like it.
What's that one big takeaway you want to leave our listeners with today?
Okay, so as nursing students, you're stepping into a role where you can make a real difference in people's lives.
Absolutely.
And understanding these dietary guidelines, it's not just about taking care of yourselves, it's about becoming the best possible nurses you can be.
Now, that's something I haven't considered before. How?
Well, think about it. You'll be working with patients from all walks of life.
Yeah.
Many of whom might be struggling with their own health choices.
That's true.
By having a solid grasp of these guidelines, you're better equipped to offer them practical advice and support. You can meet them where they are and guide them toward healthier habits.
Wow, that makes total sense.
Right.
It's not just about rattling off facts.
Yep.
It's about having that deeper understanding to connect with patients on a personal level.
Exactly. And empower them to make positive changes.
I love that.
Yeah.
And remember, as nurses,
we're
not just caregivers,
right?
We're role models.
Absolutely.
So by prioritizing our own well-being and making those healthy choices for ourselves, we're sending a powerful message to our patients.
You are. It resonates far beyond any textbook.
I love that. It's about walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into healthy eating for nursing students, what's that one thing you want our listeners to focus on today?
Start small.
Okay.
Maybe it's swapping that sugary soda for a glass of water.
Yeah.
Or adding an extra serving of veggies to your dinner.
Okay.
Or even checking out those awesome resources on MyPlate.gov.
All great ideas.
Remember, every little step counts.
That's true.
And those small, consistent choices add up over time.
To create a healthier, happier you.
Exactly. And a healthier, happier community.
I think that's the perfect note to end on.
It is.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into healthy eating.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights and practical tips to fuel both your body and your incredible nursing journey.
Absolutely. You've got this.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep nourishing yourselves.
Both physically and mentally.
You're all on your way to making a real difference in the world.
You are.
It's really cool how we're connecting healthy eating to becoming better nurses.
Right. It's all about that bigger picture.
Exactly. And it makes me think about something I've definitely struggled with.
What's that?
I used to hate almost all vegetables.
Oh, I hear you.
It took me forever to realize there are actually some I enjoy.
Yeah, it's like a whole new world opens up when you discover how to cook them in ways that taste good.
Totally. So what advice do the guidelines give for people who are like, ugh, veggies?
Well, they really emphasize gradual change.
Makes sense.
You don't have to go from zero to salad queen overnight.
Right. No one's expecting that.
Exactly. Just start by incorporating more of the healthy foods you already like.
So build on what you already enjoy.
Exactly. And then maybe try a new recipe or cooking method every now and then.
I like that. Baby steps.
Absolutely. And remember, taste buds change over time, so something you disliked as a kid might surprise you now.
That's so true. My palate has definitely evolved over the years.
Mine too. And speaking of making things easier, remember that website we mentioned earlier?
MyPlate.gov.
Yeah, that one. They have a ton of resources geared specifically towards students.
Oh, cool. Like what?
They have personalized meal plans and quick, easy recipes.
Perfect for those late-night study sessions.
Exactly. It's like having a personal nutrition coach in your pocket.
I love that. It takes all the guesswork out of meal planning.
And makes healthy eating feel a lot more approachable.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've covered a lot about the guidelines and how they can help us as future nurses.
We have. It's been a really insightful deep dive.
It really has. But before we wrap up, I have one final question for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
What's that one big takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with today?
I think the biggest thing is to remember that healthy eating isn't just about following rules. It's about nourishing your body and mind so you can thrive in all areas of your life.
That's a great point. It's about finding what works for you and making sustainable changes.
Exactly. And remember, as nurses, you're not just caring for your patient's physical health.
Right.
You're also supporting their overall well-being.
By setting a good example and empowering them to make healthier choices.
Exactly. So take care of yourselves, fuel your bodies with good food, and get ready to make a positive impact on the world.
I love that. It's like we're all in this together.
We are. So let's support each other, make those healthy choices, and go out there and make a difference.
Couldn't have said it better myself. That's a great message. It's not about perfection. It's about progress.
Exactly. And small changes can lead to big results over time.
Absolutely. And speaking of small changes, we talked about MyPlate.gov earlier.
Yeah, it's a fantastic resource.
It really is. Can you remind our listeners what makes it so helpful for nursing students?
Well, for one thing, it takes the guesswork out of meal planning.
Oh, that's key.
Especially when you're busy with classes and clinicals.
Right. Who has time to be a master chef every night?
Exactly. So MyPlate.gov has these awesome personalized meal plans.
Oh, I like that.
They're tailored to your individual needs and preferences.
Oh, cool.
And they also have tons of quick and easy recipes.
That's perfect for us busy nursing students.
It is. And it makes healthy eating a lot more approachable and fun.
That's awesome. So as we wrap up this deep dive into healthy eating for nursing students, what's that one final thought you want to leave our listeners with?
I would say this. You're about to embark on an incredible journey as nurses.
We are.
And taking care of yourselves is crucial for taking care of others.
So true.
So make those healthy choices, nourish your bodies and minds, and get ready to make a real difference in the world.
What a powerful message. I think that's the perfect note to end on.
I agree.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into healthy eating for nursing students. We hope you've learned a lot and feel inspired to fuel both your body and your incredible nursing career.
It's been a pleasure sharing this information with you all.
And remember, you've got this.
You do.